Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a video for you about the big crazy cube in Fortnite, and I'm going to be making some predictions on what it's going to do next. If you've been keeping up with the channel, I've been pretty spot on with these cube predictions, what it is, where it's going, what it's doing, and what comes next, so I think this is going to be a video that you should definitely pay attention to. For those of you that have been living in a cave or perhaps under a rock, this gigantic purple cube has spawned in Fortnite and is rolling around the map destroying minor things, or you if you touch it. In two locations, it stopped moving temporarily, spawned a low gravity zone, and printed this little rune on the ground, or this one in particular. In the second location, it printed a totally different rune, which I will be showing you in just a second. So today's video, I want to use all available evidence, both from the ARG and in-game, to make some predictions about what's coming next with the cube, and I think I'm really on point with these predictions. However, I did want to share one unusual thing with you before we move into the proper predictions, and that was I got a partial leak, I think. I had a user join my Discord, post exactly 2 messages of cube stuff before it happened, and then they left, kind of mysteriously. Wouldn't take any friend requests, wouldn't follow up or anything. They shared me this supposed map of where the cube was going, and obviously you can see that this is incorrect now. However, when I got this map, the cube was still in the river between Fatal Fields and Shifty Shafts. I got this information before it rolled up on the hill and activated at point number 2, low gravity zone. However, everything after that seems to be completely wrong, so it could be a lucky guess. And I also got a tip telling me to investigate this part of the raw cube audio for maybe something hidden in the spectrogram. I'm terrible at spectrogram analysis, so I definitely couldn't find anything. If you guys want to follow up on it, be my guest, but seeing as how the cube is moving in a different direction, I think this may be a dead leak or a fake leak. It did, however, catch my attention because the person predicted about 2 or 3 days of cube movement before it actually got there, and I almost was going to post that I had the whole thing solved, but then the cube started going in a different direction. There's also a giveaway in this video. I'm giving away some Astro A40 headsets. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter or Mixer, that's literally it. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Mixer, you're entered in the giveaway. Very straightforward, very easy, and you can get pretty much any headset you want. We just ship them straight to you. Alright, so finally on topic for the video, let's talk about these predictions. Based on the leaked game code, which you can see on the screen right now, and the fact that there are 6 more runes in the game code, which are also sitting on the screen at the moment, I expect it to activate low gravity zones in 5 more locations. According to the old leak script, it's going to move to 7 different locations, print a rune, turn on something, and then it's going to move to a lake, just wherever the lake is. Lightning is going to strike it, and it's going to activate. We've already done 2 runes. We've printed them on the ground and activated, so that would mean we have 5 more to go. This is a little bit strange to me because I personally assumed that if a cube had 6 faces, it would print 6 runes, or 1 rune for each face, which would be interesting to me. I'm not sure what the significance of the number 7 is, or if they just need to pad it for a certain number of days, or if there's no significance whatsoever. However, if the pattern continues, and I don't see a reason it shouldn't, it's going to spawn more low gravity zones and then move to Loot Lake, which is the only lake in the game code. Then it's going to activate, and I expect this activation to be huge and game-changing, and I mean like huge. This cube is something that people are obsessing over more than the rocket, almost as much as the meteor. It needs to do something really big. It'll probably happen near the end of the season to introduce a new map. I also expect it to introduce some new, never-before-seen effect on the area. It's been spawning low gravity zones right now, but what's interesting is that if you take a look at the game files, it doesn't call these low grav zones. It describes them as being magnetic fields, and when you look at them, especially the way the rays trace into the cube, they really do look like magnetic field lines. So I assume when the cube activates on Loot Lake that it's going to do something new. It could be a high gravity zone where you get pulled down and you can't jump, like you literally can't jump and you have to build to fight. It could be an actual magnetic field where all of your projectiles kind of get pulled into the cube, or that would mean sniper bullets, grenades, grenade launchers, rockets, anything like that. Or it could have a slow pull, so every time you jump in the air, it just kind of pulls you toward the cube. Or maybe even something crazier. I honestly have no idea. I kind of don't expect the lake to be fully destroyed, but I do expect it to change significantly. And the idea that I had for it is, I think this would be a straightforward one for Epic to do just on my understanding of the engine and like a coding point of view. I would expect it to freeze everything in that quadrant, or maybe just the lake itself, and make it kind of like a big slippery ice rink. Right now, the lake is debatably one of the most boring spots on the map and one of the least traffic spots on the map. I call it Death Lake. I try to avoid going there because it gets me killed all the time. There's no reason for me to want to fight on the lake. There's not a lot of loot on Loot Lake, so most players like me avoid it. However, if it were to freeze and create a nice ice rink, you could like slide across it really fast, you could make big plays, and given the fact that they're adding a variety of bounce pads and launch pads and consumables that allow you to move around the map really fast, the game's getting faster and faster and faster and more bouncy, it would make sense that they would add something with a little bit more speed like an ice rink. It would also be a very nice change for winter because fall is coming up. Fortnite went from this scrappy little nothing game last fall to now the biggest game on the planet, and it would not surprise me to see them do a more seasonal map. They pulled in the desert for summer. They should probably pull in something wintry or snowy for fall, and if we have a desert biome, we can have a winter one, which would be very fun. Now let me move on to some plot predictions, and these I think are going to be a little more interesting to all of you. As for the plot for Season 6, I'm expecting aliens. No, seriously, aliens. I think it's going to be an alien-themed plot, and I've got reasons for this. The number one reason is that the Der Burger ARG, where the real-life Der Burger came into our world with the llamas and the agents and the crazy call-in phone number, and the whole thing that the game theorists have been working on, there's a lot of clues about UFOs and UFO books. We're talking UFO Contact, Gods from Outer Space, Flying Saucer Reader, Flying Saucers, Fact or Fiction. These are all real book titles that were included in the ARG, and on various pages of these book titles, there's other clues going on, circling certain letters, doing different things, but they all do seem to be very UFO related, so it would seem strange to me that all of this UFO talk in the side story would be completely pointless. As far as comparing that to the game story goes, I think it would fit the story very, very well because the visitor from last season was probably an alien. He's visiting the map, he's not from there, full bodysuit, and he needed a rocket ship to return home, like an alien. He convinced Omega to build the ship, and then he kind of botched the launch, which is where we created the rifts and where the map started teleporting and changing and all that crazy stuff. I have a suspicion the spaceship was also supposed to not just launch like a regular Earth spaceship, but it was supposed to travel faster than light. It was supposed to launch him or teleport him out of the map back to his home planet, but it got botched. So that's how we created the rifts in space and time. We tore holes in the dimensions, we tore holes in time, and we really ruined a lot of stuff. This is the story for importing the Viking village and importing where the tomato head went and came back as Tomato Temple, and also for the IRL objects. So the llamas, the Der Burger, all of the real life items that showed up in our game as part of the plot because it tore a hole in so many dimensions, it tore a hole into our world as well. This season's road trip skin, the Enforcer, the secret skin, or the hard to earn one, is mostly obscured. You can't see the Enforcer's face. You don't know what he looks like. He does have glowing eyes, though, and he seems to be part of some sort of police force. In my opinion, this is going to be Dimensional Police. This is going to be the police from wherever the visitor is from. He's come to the map to see what's going on, to see why there's rifts, to see why the dimensions are screwed up, maybe arrest the visitor. We're not exactly sure. And I believe that based on him seeing these things, because he showed up at a similar time that the Cube did, that aliens from somewhere, wherever the visitor is from, sent the Cube to the map to prepare a gateway for them to enter. And the Cube's going to roll around the map doing various weird things and activate various locations, and then finally make a nice gateway entry landing point for them on Loot Lake so that aliens can come into the map and we can get some other sort of needlessly complicated story for which I can make a dozen speculative videos. I think the aliens might come in and try and fix up the rifts, or they might try to invade the map perhaps, but they're definitely going to be changing the map up. I don't expect it to be super destroyed like the meteor ruining the map or the rifts breaking the map, but I do expect it to change a little bit, mostly with the freezing. So when Season 6 rolls around, I'm predicting a lot of aliens, space, sci-fi kind of themed stuff, and winter as well. And personally, I would love to see something themed from John Carpenter's The Thing. I would love to see a Kurt Russell skin from The Thing, or Big Trouble in Little China as well. Guys, that's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out. Whoa, that's more friends. Could almost get one-shotted here. Oh, yes!